This video is brought to you by, well, no one, which is why if you enjoy learning about Yu-Gi-Oh history, or just like my videos in general, I implore you to consider joining the Mega Capital G Patreon for as little as $3 a month. Not only does this help me pay for the artists I hired to design my thumbnails, but my tiers include special incentives like custom-made fan-inspired Yu-Gi-Oh seasonal stickers that are currently in the works. If you do sign up, I thank you very much, and even if you don't sign up, of course I thank you very much just for watching the video. The link is in the description. The Yu-Gi-Oh trading card game, and McDonald's, the fast food restaurant. Just trying to name a more iconic duo. While I'm sure most of you watching this video can with ease, like maybe peanut butter and jelly, that doesn't diminish how awesome, unique, and legendary the powerhouse team-up was when these two titans of their industry combined for a dynamic crossover 2 decades ago. Some might be wondering what the heck I'm even talking about, but of course, all will be revealed in this video as I cover the dynamic promotion itself, everything it included, how the Yu-Gi-Oh community reacted to the collaboration, and finally, how it's aged throughout time, including some of the values of the contents. I may not be able to give you 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions on a sesame seed bun, but in this video, I can tell you all about the wondrous 2002 McDonald's Yu-Gi-Oh promotion. We're going way back, not only to the DM era, but to the very first year of the TCG, 2002. The DM anime and the OCG side of the trading card game had been around for a few years already. However, the TCG was still basically brand new at this point, with Legend of Blue Eyes White Dragon launching in March. This game was in its infancy, and I'm willing to bet that Upper Deck Entertainment's key priorities for the first year of the TCG were to establish and cultivate a strong fan base, get some idea of when and how the competitive scene would get off the ground, and everything surrounding high-level tournaments. And finally, to minimize distribution and printing problems, which actually happened a lot under Upper Deck. A huge crossover promotion just in time for the holiday season definitely could accomplish one of these criteria, but who honestly would have thought that this fairly new to America anime and trading card game would be able to score a deal with the single largest restaurant chain on the planet? Getting your brand and merchandise tied into McDonald's kid products such as Happy and Mighty Kids meals is no small feat. Sometimes it takes toy companies years to achieve this, so in my opinion, it's pretty impressive that Upper Deck was able to pull this off in Yu-Gi-Oh's first year in America, let alone during the prime shopping and advertising month of December. It should be noted, however, that in the late 90s to early 2000s, huge conglomerate fast food chains were starting to be open about the idea of promotions involving Japanese anime as opposed to just the traditional American cartoon shows that dominated the 80s and early 90s. Think Transformers, Batman, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Spider-Man, and stuff like that. Once mega series like Dragon Ball Z and Pokemon took over the West, fast food companies were basically lining up and bending over backwards to have their toys shoved into its kids' meals. Anyone remember Pokemon's plushie campaign with KFC that featured a commercial of Colonel Sanders playing a Game Boy Color? How about the over-the-top DBZ ad with a kid doing martial arts in a Burger King restaurant that was made pretty much just to promote the action figures? These are just a couple of examples of how drastically things had changed. An argument can be made that Upper Deck may have sold McDonald's on the idea of Yu-Gi-Oh being the next big blockbuster anime franchise and how they wouldn't want to miss out on this opportunity. It's actually quite amusing because typically to land these type of deals, you have to exaggerate out of the wazoo about how your franchise is going to be the next big thing. But in this case, we all know that's exactly what Yu-Gi-Oh ended up being. The McDonald's Yu-Gi-Oh promotion started a mere 9 days before Christmas. This leads me to believe that the intent from Upper Deck's side was to introduce a whole new wave of kids into the game who would instantly turn around and ask their parents to buy them Yu-Gi-Oh cards as last-minute gifts for the big Christmas holiday, Hanukkah, or Kwanzaa. The Yu-Gi-Oh promotion itself was actually fairly extensive. It featured a 15-card miniature booster set with 14 brand new cards for the TCG, as well as an interactive CD-ROM and music disc. These could only be obtained initially via the purchase of a McDonald's Mighty Kids meal, and each booster pack featured 2 cards and one of 3 CD-ROMs. Also, this whole Yu-Gi-Oh add-on didn't cost you anything additional, making it very ideal for parents to pick up. The CD-ROMs featured Yugi, Kaiba, and Maximilian Pegasus on the covers. They were filled with simple computer games, fun facts about the characters, their decks and such, but best of all, in my opinion, music.
No matter what, let the game begin. No matter what, may the best man win. No matter what, we're in this together. No matter what, we'll be friends forever.
In a pretty surprising turn of events, not only were songs from the brand new Yu-Gi-Oh! Songs to Duel by album included, but these interactive CD-ROMs also had new music as well.
Your move, better think twice before you choose. The way I'm playing tonight ain't no way I'm gonna lose. It's a game, yeah, but it's more than that. I'm not just watching the score, what matters is my grandfather's been kidnapped.
Heck, 4Kids even got the original voice actors to work on this project.
Greetings, duelists! Welcome to a world of magic and monsters. Here you can download amazing images, learn more about duel monsters, and preview music from the new CD, Yu-Gi-Oh! Music to Duel By. Now please explore and enjoy. It's your move.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Music to Duel By. The smash hit album from DreamWorks Records is available at a participating retail store near you.
Dan Green as Yugi, Eric Stewart as Kaiba, they're both featured in detail on these completely free discs. Even if they were most likely designed and made for people not familiar with the anime and the 3 main characters of the Duelist Kingdom arc, I have to admit, they made for great collector and novelty items for established fans too because of the level of detail that went into them. Keep in mind, we are judging these by 2002 standards. I know that I was a teenager during this time, and I would have been blown away to have gotten these completely for free with food that I was already going to order anyways. The miniature booster set, on the other hand, left a lot to be desired, to put it lightly. As mentioned earlier, this set was comprised of 15 cards, and with each meal you'd receive a booster pack of 2 cards. There were 3 rarities in this set, 10 commons, 3 super rares, and 2 ultras. The problem wasn't actually the pack size, it was the cards themselves. For the most part, they were pretty awful. Keep in mind, I'm not judging these by some super unrealistic meta standards. I was 16 and playing the game at the time, just a typical teenager using a semi-competitive relinquished deck at locals, and even I was like, man, these cards suck. The commons were honestly so bad, they're not even really worth discussing. For instance, Turtlebird, a level 6 vanilla 1900 attack monster. To put things into perspective, Pharaoh Servant was out in the TCG by the time we got this set. Forget about Summon Skull being infinitely better than this card because of its 600 more attack, you could just straight up play the meta-breaking Jinzo instead of this guy. The super rares, sadly, were equally as bad. Dart Piercing Light, a normal spell that flipped all your opponent's face-down monsters face up. And that's it. This of course made it strictly a worse version of Swords of Revealing Light, since that card also halted opposing monster attacks for 3 full turns. Takri Minnows was also a super rare and was a level 4 1500 attack normal Sea Serpent. Again, a card not really worth playing pretty much at all. Legend, Mystical Genie of the Lamp, 7 Colored Fish, and Sky Scout, in those days known as Harpy's brother, were all 1800 level 4 vanillas, so they were just better. And it wasn't even like they were rare or expensive cards. Each one was initially released as a common, so people would just throw them in for free in trades, or you could probably just pick up a playset of them for a couple of dollars at your locals. The one part of this mediocre set that did excel were the 2 fantastic ultra rares. These were cards that people who already played the game, like myself, actually wanted. Cosmo Queen was just an upgraded version of Dart Magician for the most part. Same typing, same attributes, same number of tributes needed to summon, but with more attack and defense. At this point, Dart Magician didn't really have any great support cards, so she was just better. Also, to be blunt, she looked cool as hell, which was the sole reason that she was the one card in the set I really wanted and actively tried to get. Most people felt the same way about Millennium Shield. Arguably on the surface, just a doppelganger of Labyrinth Wall, but this card actually looked cool. The shining bright gold trim, the bold stunning red, it was reminiscent of something you'd see out of a Zelda game. The card was also desired because it had the anime factor going for it, as it was used in Rebecca's Duel vs. Yugi. The awesome artwork, among other things, of the two ultra rares made them highly desirable among duelists. While established fans were annoyed by the subpar level of cards found in the McDonald's pack, from Upper Deck's perspective, it actually made a lot of sense to cram the McDonald's set full of trash tier cards. After all, it was mainly comprised of cards from the OCG's earliest sets, where they basically had all vanillas. Upper Deck would have to import these crap cards at some point, so why not push them into a super niche set not intended for established players? At the same time, brand new kids getting into Yu-Gi-Oh! Wouldn't know enough about the game to be able to identify just how bad the cards were. In a way, it was actually a win for Upper Deck and for the player base. Upper Deck got its promotion, but strategically filled it with bad cards. We the players, on the other hand, didn't have to see our core booster sets, like the upcoming Labyrinth of Nightmare, filled with this jank. I do remember many players who wanted the ultra rares being annoyed that going out to McDonald's or finding someone to trade with was the only way of obtaining the cards. Unlike everything else at the time, you couldn't just buy a booster box or a starter deck. This predictably led to a relatively low supply of the cards in comparison to the amount of players who wanted them, which in turn led to them being worth a decent amount of money at the time. There was also the annoying variant of at participating restaurants, which basically is just fast food SOP. That means some stores might have it and some stores might not. So if your closest Golden Arches doesn't, don't blame us, just go find another one. The Mickey D's promotion only ran for 3 short weeks into the new year, and once it was over, it was gone for good, which actually raised the value of the super and ultra rare cards even more because now collectors were after them. Interesting enough, this set has held up fairly well despite how abysmal the cards were when we initially received them. Near mint copies of Cosmo Queen and Millennium Shield can fetch $40 to $50 on the secondary market, and videos of popular content creators opening the McDonald's pack have brought in huge viewership numbers in the past. I think even Konami might have some reverence for this pack, as Millennium Shield's original artwork found in the McDonald's pack has never actually been reprinted for the TCG in 20 years. Frog the Jam, which had its name changed to Slime Toad in 2016, also took 14 years to get a reprint. So even Konami seems to treat this set in somewhat of an odd and maybe special way. I think many appreciate how unique the entire pack and cross promotion was in comparison to, well, basically every other Yu-Gi-Oh product. And the fact that it was gone in a flash made the cards even more desirable, because if you blinked, you probably missed it. And with that said, we are at the conclusion to this Yu-Gi-Oh story. If you enjoyed the video, or more importantly, you learned something, give the video a big thumbs up. Let me know what you thought in the comment section below, and also consider checking out some of the other Yu-Gi-Oh stories that I am sure are on the screen right now. Thanks of course for watching as always.
Where'd he go? I don't know. I could hear him though. He's been telling me all sorts of stuff, like believe in myself and that you're not nearly so tough. You're always strategizing to get the upper hand.